There are now more than 3,000 cases of coronavirus in the U.S. The number of coronavirus cases in the U.S. passed 3,000 on Sunday, as a top health official warned that life in America will change while the country fights the outbreak. For a while, life is not going to be the way it used to be in the United States, Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, said on CNN State of the Union Sunday morning. We have to just accept that if we want to do what's best for the American public. As of Sunday, there were at least 3,130 coronavirus cases in 49 states, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands and Washington, D.C. At least 62 people have died. West Virginia remained the only state without any confirmed cases. The U.S. can expect more cases and deaths, Fauci said at a White House briefing Saturday. We have not yet reached our peak. With the threat of further spread on the horizon, officials across the country have imposed a slew of restrictions to curb the spread of the virus. Local governments have encouraged residents to stay home and practice social distancing. Some states, including California, New York and Washington state, have banned large gatherings. Schools across the country have closed, worship services have been cancelled, and recreational and entertainment events are at a near halt, bringing dramatic changes to the everyday lives of Americans. And the restrictions and closures keep coming. Hoboken, New Jersey, announced a citywide curfew starting Monday. Residents will be required to stay in their homes from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., with exceptions for work, Mayor Ravindra Ballas said. Bars and restaurants in Hoboken won't be allowed to serve food inside their locations as of Sunday at 11 a.m. They will be permitted to conduct food takeout and food delivery service only, Ballas said. In Colorado, Governor Jared Polis issued an executive order Saturday requiring downhill ski resorts close for a week due to the presence of coronavirus in the mountain communities with limited care capacity. Polis said he was directing downhill ski resorts to suspend operations for 1 week to slow the spread of COVID-19 and conserve medical resources in our mountain communities. The governor said officials will continue to monitor the course of the outbreak and may amend the executive order. And Los Angeles County will temporarily suspend all jury trials through March 30, according to a source and an internal police memo obtained by CNN. Los Angeles Police Department spokesman Josh Rubenstein confirmed the contents of the memo to CNN. The hiatus would include the murder trial of multimillionaire Robert Durst, pending a final approval from the judge presiding over his case. The courts will re-examine the suspension decision continuance prior to March 30, the police memo states. Personnel will be resubpoenaed through the courts for new jury trial dates. Travelers returning to U.S. find long airport lines. President Donald Trump expanded restrictions on entry into the U.S. from Europe to include the United Kingdom and Ireland. The travel restrictions go into effect Monday at midnight. Restrictions from 26 other countries in Europe went into effect Friday. U.S. citizens and their family members are exempt from both sets of restrictions, but they are subject to enhanced medical screenings upon arrival. Some passengers returning from Europe said they faced long lines and confusion upon landing at U.S. airports. Catherine Rogers landed at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport Saturday. After waiting in line for about 5 hours to be screened by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, she was told she had an hour more to go. No one seems prepared, she said. To take us off planes from all over the world and put us together for hours seems counterproductive. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker criticized federal officials for the long lines, telling NBC's Meet the Press Sunday they should have increased the number of personnel to handle the influx of travelers returning to the U.S. Last night, as people were flooding into O'Hare Airport, they were stuck in a small area. Hundreds and hundreds of people. And that's exactly what you don't want in this pandemic, the governor said. And then today, he added, it's going to be even worse. There are a larger number of flights with more people coming. And they seem completely unprepared. Long lines also greeted travelers arriving at John F. Kennedy International Airport, where passengers said they were instructed to share pens to fill out paperwork, even as Americans are being urged not to come in close contact with one another. They didn't have pens and told us to share, which sounds like a great thing in the middle of the pandemic, passenger Catalin Diebler said. Trump says more tests will be available. President Trump declared a national emergency Friday, freeing up $50 billion in federal resources to combat the outbreaks. No resource will be spared, nothing whatsoever, he said. The Trump administration said Friday it was partnering with the private sector to also boost testing capacity, with both more tests and drive-through testing. The country's testing system has received stark criticism from health officials and people who said they were turned away despite showing symptoms. Fauci said earlier this week the U.S. testing system was failing to meet the public's needs. On Friday, Trump said 5 million coronavirus tests would be available within a month. He also said American retail executives would be donating resources to facilitate drive-through testing across the country. But those companies later said they had few details on what they could offer or when test kits would be available. Trump told reporters Saturday that he took a coronavirus test Friday night. The White House later said the test was negative. Meanwhile, facilities in New York, Illinois and Colorado have started offering drive-through testing. Drive-through testing means people in this community can call a telephone number, make an appointment, and then can come to be tested and literally drive through the testing facilities, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo said. It's not only faster and easier. It's also smarter and safer because you're not exposing people who may be positive. CNN's Christina Maxauris, Nicole Chavez, Holly Silverman, Dakin Andon and Holly Yan contributed to this report. Click subscribe to receive the latest news.